improvisation and they're kind of way up here, well then you can kind of get away with it. You know, you can kind of get away with doing some bass line and light chords in here to comp behind their solo, right? But if the sonic range is kind of down in here, then usually stay away from the bass line. Doesn't mean you have to stay away from that in chords. Like, you can still play chords like this with a bass player, all right? What you want to avoid though is doing like a lot of motion down here. So let me explain that quickly, because I think a lot of times students don't understand why. They think, oh, if I'm playing with a bass player, it's like I should just chop this side of the keyboard off and never play below there. No, that is not the case. And the reason I say students think like that is because I used to think like that. When I was first learning, I was like, oh, bass player, I should never, I can't go down there. Well, no, of course, you can play down in here. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're not stepping on their toes, right? So a bass player is going to be down in this range, and they're going to be like, they're going to be down there playing melodic. Now imagine they're playing melodic down here. Just imagine that's the bass player. And then you decide, hey, let me start playing melodic down here as well. Can you kind of visually just even see what's happening there? It starts to all get tangled and mushy, like, you know, I mean, it just like starts to become a mess, right? However, though, if you do, hear the difference now? Here, this I'm thinking is more like comping kind of stuff, and you wouldn't comp that low anyway. Point though is, like, let's say I'm doing like, it's kind of hard to do. Well, let's see, like maybe I could do. So you can kind of get the idea. If I'm playing a chord down here and holding this down while the bass player is playing, no big deal, right? Bass player's not going to freak out about that, right? But if I'm doing like a lot of like this kind of stuff, or down there while they're trying to be melodic and trying to play, then you're stepping on their toes, all right? So the point is, if you're playing along with a bass player, in very few circumstances, you will actually play a bass line. Sometimes you guys will play a bass line together. You know, now there have been times when I'm playing along with a bass player and we have something specific that we play together. You know, so we might play that line, and the bass player is playing that line as well, and we're playing that together, all right? But in a typical setting in which the bass player is walking or playing like some grooving line, you're usually going to stay away from playing melodic down here. Instead, you'll play more chords, or kind of hold stuff down. When you're playing your chords, don't play a lot of stuff down there. Just kind of like hold them down. And I'm playing this chord just to kind of show like a lot of spread here in the left hand. You probably end up playing something like this, up a little bit higher, so it's usually not in the way anyway.